What's going on, guys? This is Mike Williams from Cartoon Universe, and we are going to be talking about the latest Miraculous Ladybug episode, Heroes Day Part 1. This is the first part of a two-parter, obviously, and the second part isn't coming out for about another week or so we got a little while to digest what went down in this episode. I thought it was really dope. It was cool, a lot of nice references, things are starting to come together, but it was also a bit of a mess. So what were your overall thoughts on this episode before we get into the nitty-gritty, Hailey?
I thought it was really cool. I was kind of almost like screaming on the inside, plus on the outside in some bits, because it got really quite intense with things that happened. A lot that I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. It's finally happening. Like, it feels like things have been going really quickly now that ever since like the second-ish half of season 2, especially with everyone getting their miraculouses, I feel like things have been speeding up, and yeah, we're getting there, and they already ran out people to akumatize, but now they really are running out people to akumatize, because now this time we get Catalyst.
There's a lot to digest with this episode, a lot to kind of dive into. Basically, this episode shows all of the heroes so far that we've seen. So we got Ladybug, Cat Noir, obviously, and then we have Rena Rouge, Carapace, and Queen Bee. Basically, this episode showed that Hawkmoth, as a lot of people have speculated before, I know this is something that I thought about basically as soon as I started watching the show, was, okay, he can akumatize people and give them the power based off some sort of pain or whatever, but it seems like he can just give anybody almost any power for the most part, with no true defined rules or anything. So basically, we knew that Natalie was aware that Gabriel was Hawkmoth. She has been aware that he's been trying to do this to bring Emily back, and he basically just akumatizes her. Well, first he akumatizes, I think it's Lila in English, but Lila in French.
Oh,
or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was Lila. I remember.
Yeah, but it sounded like Lila in French, but maybe I'm just hearing it wrong. But basically, she's still like a compulsive liar. She can't stop herself from lying. And he basically baited her into getting akumatized. And she used her illusion powers to pretend that Ladybug got akumatized. And straight up Thanos'd Cat Noir in front of everybody. He got straight up snapped. He is not feeling so good, Mr. Stark. He is not feeling too good. Which is really dark because he cataclysmed himself. I guess that's a thing that could theoretically happen, even though it was fake. Yeah, even if it was fake, it was really dark. Basically, all Paris witnessed Ladybug commit a murder, even though none of it actually happened. So that was pretty messed up. But basically, after she gets not unakumatized, it seems like she's still kind of happy with what she did, which is different than anyone else I think we've seen get akumatized. Because once the Akuma left her, she still had that evil smile afterwards. So that's very interesting. I think she actually might be a bad person, like deep down.
Yeah, I mean, also, we haven't seen something like this happen where Hawkmoth just takes the Akuma out of them. That was new, right?
Yep, that was I don't think we've ever seen it. This is where it gets really weird and confusing. So basically, he brings the Akuma back, and he's still Hawkmoth, and Natalie's actually chilling with him at this time in his evil lair of evil. And he akumatizes another butterfly. So he can akumatize more than once in a day, I guess, which I find strange since based off the rules of Cat Noir and Ladybug, they can only use their like special ability or whatever once, and that's it. And then after that, they kind of start getting drained. Their miraculous starts getting drained, so it doesn't seem like they could really hold it for that long. So do you think that Hawkmoth just has honed a certain ability or a certain level of power to control his miraculous more, or does his miraculous just work differently, or are the writer's just not thinking this through? which one do you think?
I always want to give the benefit of the doubt, and they thought about this. So I mean, Master Fu did mention like, oh, he's finally figured out the true, potential of it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's for a little bit later, or kind of. But basically, yeah, maybe it's just it's like a muscle. You just keep working at it, and it gets stronger, or it's just OP. I don't know. It's miraculous OP.
Yeah, if it really is a muscle and it gets stronger, I really hope we kind of dive more into that and see, Ladybug and Cat Noir and maybe the other heroes kind of honing their abilities and leveling up, so to speak. I think the problem with that is, based off the current format, it would kind of make it hard to really make episodes out of because they could just keep using the same thing over and over until they win. So they wouldn't have to really think about it or figure things out. But I feel like if Hawkmoth ends up getting more powerful as he seems to have, maybe it's possible that to balance it out, Cat Noir and Ladybug also get more powerful along with him, so it's not just that Cat Noir and Ladybug are just OP. But basically, after he akumatizes the other butterfly, he akumatizes Natalie, who turns into the Catalyst, or the Natalist, if you will.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much.
Oh my.
And she has the power, for some reason, to multiply his power and turn him into Scarlet Hawkmoth. So she's almost acting as a Hawkmoth of sorts because she kind of turned him into a new villain, so to speak. And she seems to kind of be talking to him and communicating to him like later on. But I don't understand this because so far it seemed as though, at least in my headcanon, that whatever powers he gives the people he akumatized has something to do with what made them get akumatized to begin with. Some sort of emotion or thing that caused it. It was usually related to that, right? But this doesn't seem like it's related to anything. It doesn't seem like Natalie, honestly, was even sad or angry to begin with.
Maybe it's like a desire.
Sure.
Like with Lila, she wanted to be Rena Rouge. So she became Rena Rouge.
Right.
So I guess maybe Natalie wanted to help Hawkmoth. So she became one that could help Hawkmoth.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it probably does come from the desire. She just didn't seem like she was in broken spirits in that moment. So I'm not really sure how that works. That's
She's
kind
just
of
always very sad.
that's her secret, Cap. She's always sad. So yeah, so this seems like very confusing because I don't understand why this man did not think to do this from the beginning. Master Fu stated that he finally understood the potential of his power. I don't know if that's referring to him specifically being able to akumatize more than once in a day, even though you can only do one person at a time, or if it's the fact that he has now a bunch of Akumas flying around, or if it's both. But my thing is, that would have been the first thing I would have thought to do if I had Hawkmoth's power, because I thought about this like pretty early on, like season 1. I was just thinking, why doesn't he just get the power to get more Akumas or something more creative than what he's already doing? So why do you think he held this back? Do you think there's even a logical reason, or is he just not that smart?
Yeah, I mean, they needed to do a certain amount of episodes, so he's like, okay, I'll wait.
I'll wait.
Yeah. I have no idea. When you made me think about it, I'm like, wow, you're right. It makes no sense.
Yeah, because like it seemed like when he basically in the last couple episodes during the Queen Bee trilogy, so to speak, he seemed like he was ready to give up. He basically said he was gonna give up. He was done. Nothing's working. This is my last chance. She was the perfect prey, and nothing's ever gonna work ever again. And then, so it doesn't seem like he actually had this idea in mind ever as a last resort or something, or like, oh, I held it back because it's too powerful and it can go crazy or something. But he just didn't think about it, I guess. And what bothers me is there was no specific restriction as to why he couldn't do this before. Like, he had to unlock some sort of power or some sort of knowledge in order to perform this ability correctly. There was none of that. And even if there was, we didn't get to see it as the audience. We had no idea this was even possible. So that annoys me because there was no moment where this made sense. He could have just done this an entire season ago, and that would have been it. It would have been a wrap. So I don't know. That bothers me.
I see your issue, and I agree for the most part. Yeah. I don't know what took him so long, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but it does seem like this was possibly what he was referring to when he said soon that the heroes were going to be outnumbered. It seems like he was referring to making multiple Kumas, which I kind of assumed was going to be the case, but I just didn't know how. I thought it'd be a little more thought out than this, but he seemed like he just kind of was able to, akumatize a bunch of people, and we got a lot of references to old people who got akumatized. and we got to see their villains again, which is pretty cool. No Dark Owl this time. He managed to keep them away. Hoot. But basically, this kind of goes to what I said before, that the heroes would soon be outnumbered because he would just get a bunch of people in Paris to be akumatized. So do you think now that we're kind of ending this season, and this seems to be kind of the accumulation of everything that's come before it, akumatizing like basically all the people that had been akumatized before, do you think this is it for Paris and akumatizations? Do you think they're going to switch gears for the next season because of this?
Ooh, that's a really good thought. I didn't think about that. I just totally thought they're going to keep finding more people to akumatize. What, the mailman, milkman?
The mailman. Pigeon man.
That's a good point, and I think that definitely could segue into like, oh man, Paris is too happy now. What the heck are we trying to on to a different country? Okay, China, America.
Yeah.
Okay, I that'd be cool. I think.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So I mean, it'd be cool to see Hawkmoth move to China or New York. I feel like it's kind of weird. It's kind of like taking Spider-Man out of New York for an entire season. Like that happens, it has happened, but it seems like Paris is always going to be sort of the central hub of the show for the most part. I could be totally wrong. Maybe they're just going to do a new country every season or something like that. And it's also extra because it's just Paris. He didn't even try other cities in France. Like, why are you going all the way to China or New York? Like, that's completely unnecessary. Unless there's some specific reason why he thinks he'd be good there. But it seems as though, what was I going to say? It feels like they've kind of squeezed Paris dry at this point. I feel like if season 3 features a bunch of people in Paris getting akumatized again for the whole season, I'd be a little bit annoyed. I hope they kind of change it up, even if they use the Peacock Miraculous. I forget, like a couple years ago at LA Comic-Con, they did say the holder of the Peacock Miraculous was going to become Hawkmoth's boss. It seems like they're kind of setting that up to be Natalie based off of the end. She kind of seemed to be going like, yes, very good, Hawkmoth. But it seemed like she was kind of replacing Hawkmoth in that sense. So maybe them as a duo, they're a little more stronger. But was it season 2 they said she was going to become, or the person with the Peacock Miraculous was going to become the boss, or was it 2 or 3?
I mean, I don't know, but it seems like that might be what happens next episode. Because Mayor is the Peacock, I thought.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm still used to the old Peacock name.
Le Pion or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's Mayra now. Yeah, because that was never an official name, Pion or whatever. I think it was just like French for Peacock, probably.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it seems like, Heroes Day Part 2, you said airing October 29th, so a week, basically, in Italy. And I believe I would have to double check.
Yeah, I think it's worldwide.
It's
worldwide.
Lady, and it looks like Natalie. We don't know any other females that look alive female, mind you, that look like her.
Right.
We didn't. I mean, yeah, Mrs. Agrest. That's a thing, still, but
yeah,
it wasn't really talked about in this episode, was it?
Yeah, it was just alluded to. There's a statue of her because that's normal. But yeah. So that basically kind of matches up with what I said, that if the next episode is focused on the holder of the Peacock Miraculous, which is most likely Natalie. She's actually already kind of got the colors, sort of, with the Catalyst outfit. It seems like this would be kind of a change in gears, because we still don't even know what the Peacock Miraculous even does. So it's definitely possible that after this episode, or at least this 2-part episode, we're going to start changing gears. No more kumatizations, at least not in Paris. And we're going to have a new villain in town, and the dynamic's going to shift, which I'm really excited for, because this actually might be the very start of things getting really serious and more villains, more heroes kind of popping up, because we know it's a greater universe. So I'm excited for that, but I wish they did it a little better, just polished the rules of Hawkmoth's Miraculous a little bit more.
Do you think we'll ever get off the format of having the title be the name of who gets akumatized, or the big bad of that episode, or do you think it's gonna stay like that for the whole series?
That's a good question. I mean, I know shows usually, when they pick a format like that, it's not usually something they ever break, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, because I hope, and I could be wrong, but I hope they're not gonna go with the whole villain of the week thing every single episode for the rest of the series, unless they can find a way to kind of blend it into the greater overarching plot that's not just so you know, Hawkmoth can find another villain to do this week. Okay, it didn't work. He's gonna do another one. Like, I hope they can tie it all in to something greater going on, something a little more serialized. It can still be kind of episodic, but that's what I like about OKKO. Kind of not a similar show really, but they kind of combined a story arc and continuity along with episodic tendencies in a sense. So I could see something like that going on here, and there's so much potential because it's a superhero world. Like, there's so much you could work with. There's a big plot you can make. You can make a big mystery if you wanted. There's so much they could do, and I hope if they do go like a new episode is a new villain every time, I hope they can find a way to tie them all together in some form.
Did you mention how, like, you know, we learned about secret identities kind of? I just love seeing the interactions between Nino and Alia, and like, them learning each other. I mean, Alia already knew because she's that smart, apparently.
She doesn't even know Baronet's Ladybug, or does she?
But
or does
she?
she?
Nino's, right? So.
What if she does?
Yeah. Dun dun.
What if that may have been a hint that she actually is aware that, you know,
Interesting.
or like everyone is who they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we're kind of branching off with identities now, so that's pretty interesting. We kind of talked about how that dynamic was gonna work.
Yeah, definitely. And I love seeing Nino and Alia try to protect each other. It's a good duo right there.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
And also, one other thing that I thought was cool, that we get to see Plague use Cataclysm again, but he doesn't destroy everything. This time he's better at controlling it. I guess it only took him a couple thousand years or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he tried. Well, he only like did a little blow, so maybe that's why he didn't straight up go Cataclysm, bam! Like, he kind of just did a nice little gentle, little airy blow out of his mouth. But it's good to see he's trying not to completely destroy things. It shows that Plague, even though he's kind of harsh and kind of selfish at times, he is a good person. He tries his best. Cool. Yeah, but that pretty much wraps it up. I like Scarlet Hawkmoth. I think he looks dope. I think his powers are cool. It's just awesome. But I just wish they kind of did it in a way that made more sense. Hopefully they can dive more into that at some point. Maybe Miraculous will release a book like Star's Book of Spells and have the Miraculous book kind of explain everything. That'd be pretty cool. But
yeah, I would definitely love Miraculous lore, please.
Yeah, because it looks like there's so much potential, and you can tell there's a lot of hidden stuff that they're not diving into too deep. So I don't know. I love lore, so I would love to see them dive more into that. But I'm excited for the next episode. It's airing on the 29th in Italy, but I think that's the worldwide premiere. So it should be in English at that point. So we're definitely going to be talking about it once it airs. And we don't have a release date for season 3 yet, do we?
I don't think so.
No. So we'll just have to wait for that one. That's just going to be a struggle.
Probably I'd say 2019 because
yeah,
season 2 is not airing on Netflix for us Americans until December of this year. So yeah, it's probably going to be a few months.
Yeah, definitely. So don't hold your breath, but I do know that they were producing 2 and 3 relatively close together, so we probably won't be a huge wait like a lot of other cartoons out there right now. So, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new here, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so be notified when these miraculous goodness is going to be dropping. And if you want to make sure we don't get akumatized or Thanos snapped by Ladybug in a parade, you should check out our Patreon. Yeah, and that's gonna be it, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.